Greetings, duelists! I'm Pharaoh, and today we're taking a look at the Shining Sarcophagus strategy, along with all the great new Yugi-themed cards included in the newest set of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, Legacy of Destruction. So what kind of amazing cards are we going to find in the Pharaoh's Tomb today? Well, the Shining Sarcophagus strategy is a completely new deck based around all of Yugi's fan-favorite monsters that he used in a sacred ceremonial duel against Atem at the end of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Not only was Atem blown away by the power of these cards, but even Seto Kaiba realized how great a rival Yugi had become. So, go ahead and join me as we journey deep into the Pharaoh's Tomb to find out what you have in store for your opponents when you employ the Shining Sarcophagus. Shall we? Let's start things off with the real Legacy of Destruction. What was once Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction, has become Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction. Not only does it gain 300 attack for each banished card, but if you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can special summon it from your hand for free. Then, you can pay half your life points and destroy as many other cards on the field as possible. And if you do, banish them. Then, special summon one level 7 or lower monster that mentions the Shining Sarcophagus from your deck, and increase that card's level by the number of cards destroyed. But why raise that monster's level? Well, check out these level-based monsters and you'll find out why. Silent Swordsman returns to Origin with the new Silent Swordsman 0. Every standby phase, Silent Swordsman 0 will increase its own level by 1. And speaking of levels, when this card's level is higher than its original level, it gains 500 attack multiplied by the difference. Now Gandora is making sense. And when your opponent tries to activate a card or effect that targets your Shining Sarcophagus or a monster that mentions it, you can negate the activation, and if you do, increase this card's level by 1. Less effects for the opponent? More attack for Silent Swordsman 0? I'm in. Hey, but wait, there's more monsters for Gandora to summon. Silent Magician also returns back to basics with Silent Magician 0. If your opponent draws a card, Silent Magician 0 will also increase its level by the number of cards drawn. And while its level is higher than the original, you guessed it, it also gains 500 attack times the difference. Last but not least, when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, and you already control Shining Sarcophagus, Silent Magician can negate that activation, and if you do, increase the card's level by 1. Both are great choices for Gandora, but seasoned duelists will notice that I haven't mentioned a way to get into your new signature strategy. Well, I've got the card for you. Longtime competitors and anime fans alike will recognize Yugi's red, yellow, and green gadgets. But allow me to introduce the next gadget to hit the scene, introducing Gadget Trio. If Gadget Trio is normal summoned or special summoned, you can grab a Shining Sarcophagus or a spell or trap that mentions it from your deck to your hand. And if Gadget Trio happens to be destroyed by battle or card effect, hey, you can set one Stronghold the Hidden Fortress. We'll break down all the cool spells and traps that you can get in a moment, but it wouldn't be a Yugi deck without Marshmelon. And what's better than Marshmelon? Well, more Marshmelon. While you control Shining Sarcophagus, more Marshmelon cannot be destroyed by battle, and your opponent's monsters can't target other monsters for attack except more Marshmelon. You didn't even need Marshmelon glasses. If you have Shining Sarcophagus out on the field, you can use Marshmelon's quick effect to special summon it from your hand to save you in the nick of time. If it's destroyed by a card effect, well, good news for more Marshmelon fans, you can special summon one more Marshmelon from either your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment, as long as it's not the same more Marshmelon. And if you do, more Marshmelon is back to deal out even more damage. Alright, we promised you some powerful spell and traps, but first, let's revisit Shining Sarcophagus to get to know a little bit more about it. First off, Shining Sarcophagus cannot be destroyed by monster effects, and that includes your own Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction. Just like Yugi's Gold Sarcophagus, Shining Sarcophagus is great for setting up your strategy. It lets you grab a monster from your deck that mentions Shining Sarcophagus every turn. And, just like Yugi would use his Sarcophagus to stop a certain monster reborn from gaining an advantage on him, this Shining Sarcophagus can also be used to send your opponent's newly special summoned monster from the graveyard right back from whence it came, all for the low cost of a single discarded spell. Let's talk about Turn Silence. Not only does it let you increase the level of a monster you control by 3, which is great for your silent monsters, but if you activated it in response to your opponent's monster effect activation while you control Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, you get to negate that opponent's effect. That's a great response to your opponent's Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring if they use that in response to any of your card effects. And during damage calculation, if one of your monsters that mention Shining Sarcophagus battles, you can banish Turn Silence from the graveyard to end that battle phase. Need to tie in some brethren? Well, if you've got Shining Sarcophagus in play, the new Ties That Bind card allows you to special summon up to 2 level 4 or lower monsters with different names that mention Shining Sarcophagus from your hand and or deck. You're locked out of the extra deck for the rest of the turn after the card resolves, but that's a fair trade for such a powerful card, and another great target for your gadget trio. Rounding out the spells, we have Future Silence. Ordinarily, it allows you to add a monster from your deck that mentions Shining Sarcophagus to your hand. But if you activate it during the battle phase, each player draws until they have 6 cards. Since it's a quick play, you can always choose the timing that is right for your Silent Magician 0 and wrong for your opponent. And because it's a spell, it means it's an easy grab for Gadget Trio, allowing you to have access to nearly all your deck at once. And finally, Stronghold the Hidden Fortress. It's a familiar sounding trap card that Gadget Trio calls up from the deck on its own way out. Stronghold the Hidden Fortress becomes an effect monster with 2 powerful effects. First, it gains 1000 attack for each Shining Sarcophagus and monster that mentions it that you control. And hey, remember that Stronghold does just that, so it counts for itself too. Then, once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack while you control the Shining Sarcophagus, you can destroy that monster and send it packing. So there you have it, all the wonderful cards you'll find from the Shining Sarcophagus strategy right inside of Legacy of Destruction. It is one thing to talk about this deck, but it's a completely different thing to play it, so I cannot wait to see what happens when you open your packs of Legacy of Destruction and get a chance to make a deck of your own. But until then, good luck in your future duels, and good luck in your packs too.